This one might be a little bit more specific about my personal experience because I'm not entirely sure if other people's do. Now, I should have done more research for this, but the book that tells me all this information is buried in boxes. So I was not going to be doing some heavy lifting. I'm going to be talking about why I don't know where my body is. That sounds weird, doesn't make sense, but here we go. And my script is down here, so if I look down, I'm sorry. So basically, I've had long-term chronic pain. It started when I was 7, and long-term chronic pain has a myriad of side effects, some weirder than others. My big one is dissociation. So now I have dissociation of different types that come as part of various mental health conditions, but I also have kind of permanently dissociated from my body in this like one specific way. Basically, I don't know where my body is. If I can't see my limbs or have something pressing on them, I don't really know where they are or what they're doing. Okay, so let's get into the science first. Ooh, science. According to my old pain specialist and this book, which is in the boxes, inside your brain, there's like a tiny map. It has all your fingers and toes and elbows kind of mapped out. So if you shut your eyes or hold your hand out behind you, you should, if your brain is all hunky-dory, be able to know exactly what your limbs are doing and basically kind of see it in your head almost, or at least know what it is. However, as a result of over a decade of chronic pain, these maps inside my brain have become foggy. So while normally the map would follow right along your fingers, kind of like over time, as a way of trying to distance myself from the pain, the outline of my hand has become foggy and fuzzy around the edges, kind of. So instead of being like so super close, it's kind of like, yes, there is a hand here somewhere, kind of thing. So if I put my hand back here and try and move my fingers purposely, I don't know if you can see this, try and shut my eyes, like I know what it's doing, but it's kind of like when you put your foot to sleep and you're trying to, or your hand to sleep, kind of if you sleep funny and you're trying to get it to start moving again, it's kind of like that. Ultimately, it isn't a debilitating symptom. It only affects me through kind of previous physiotherapy attempts, arm work in my ballroom dancing, and not much else except that I am very, very, very clumsy, kind of. If I'm walking through the house, I'll bump into tables, chairs, walls like 5 times a day just because I don't have such a clear understanding of where my body is, so I'll just run straight into a corner. However, it was the cause of something that still causes me a lot of pain to think about. It's probably one of the only things that will make me cry pretty much whenever I think about it. So let's get through this without crying, shall we? More of like a personal anecdote to try and, I guess my point here is believe people, believe kids who are sick. And I guess that's a big part of what I want to do here on this channel, is kind of get people to believe things. So fun with this personal anecdote. I started playing the violin when I was 4. Mum says I've only begged for 3 things in my life. One was to play the violin, one was to get pet chickens, and one was to get my ears pierced. And so the violin was the first one. And my first violin was bright blue, and my parents got it from a garage sale, and I loved it. It was beautiful. And I'll admit, I didn't practice nearly as much as I should. I played through primary school and began private lessons, again beginning high school. My teacher was very nice, my private teacher in high school, and she allowed me to sit down during lessons when it was too painful to stand up because of my ankle pain. However, as time progressed, I began to not be able to play. I could still read the music, but I couldn't get my hands to do what was needed. I was told I just need to remember to wear my glasses when I played and practice more, but I had stopped practicing because of how hard it was to do these simplest things that I've been doing for 10 years. I genuinely thought I was going insane. I was scared. I had everything from early onset dementia to some sort of brain tumor. But most of all, I was scared I was making it up. When there was no explanation and everyone around me was telling me that I just needed to practice more and that it was essentially all my fault, that this thing that I had loved and had fought through bad teachers and anxiety to be fairly average at playing, it was too hard. It's hard to continue to believe in yourself, especially since at this time I was still undiagnosed. It was kind of a catch-22 because the harder it was to get my fingers to do these simplest tasks, that I stopped practicing because it didn't make sense. And so then I would get worse and it would kind of go around in a circle. I genuinely thought I was going insane. And to me, it's a massive landmark of being undiagnosed, because I have throughout my life believed that I was making everything up. And I will make a video about not believing in yourself and not believing that your illnesses are real, that you're making them all up, because it is something that is very, very hard to do. Eventually I broke down crying to my mum, and I'm like, I can't, like, I am trying, but that just something, it was like something was kind of blocking it. And I didn't understand until years later, until I went to this pain specialist. And she's like, have you ever heard of dissociation? I said, no. And she kind of explained that it comes in many different forms. But this particular one is kind of the body's coping mechanism. When there's a lot of pain, the brain kind of tries to push it away because then it can't hurt you as much. So kind of these maps in my brain over time with chronic pain kind of started to dissolve a bit, become fuzzier. Okay, my alarm went off, and so let's hope this camera is in the same position again. My body was in pain, these extremities were in pain, so the brain kind of thinks if it's further away it can't hurt you as much. And that's kind of a form of dissociation that I've kind of experienced permanently for many, many years now. I had never heard of it, and I guess I'm making this video so if anyone is going through that, they can see it and think, oh, it's real, there is something there. And I'll admit, my science, my facts in this video, they're not cited, they're probably a little bit iffy, a little bit off, but it's mainly personal experience and showing that it's real. So I've had, my chronic pain has been mainly in my joints since I was about 7, or probably before that, and it was a way of my body protecting itself. Yeah, so while this video might have been a little bit more specific and maybe only applies to me, but I'm gonna make it, see how it goes, see if people watch it and go, what the hell is she on about? Because honestly, I ask myself that too a lot of the time. So thanks for watching, and Instagram, another video, maybe subscribe to see more fun things about how weird and messed up the body can become. So yeah, bye.